Hey, it's Dr. Karen Kan. I am the TOLPAKAN Healing Method teacher and creator, and also the founder of the Academy of Light Medicine. And this week on Spiritual Medicine Digest, we are going to be talking about a very interesting topic called timeline stability. So if you're brand new to my channel, I would love for you to hit the subscribe button, perhaps the notification bell, so every time I do a new video, you will be notified. So what are we talking about? Timeline stability. Well, there have been many of us, especially those who are highly sensitive, who have consciously been creating the new world through their imaginations and through their embodiments of feeling, seeing, hearing, touching, tasting, smelling the new reality where there is joy, there is peace for all, there is prosperity, and maybe a happier, healthy version of you. So those of us that have been working on this, we can call it timeline jumping or quantum jumping to that new reality, we've noticed that there is a difference between when we are feeling into and experiencing our new timelines and our perceptions and when we are experiencing what I call the old timeline or the less preferred timeline. So this timeline jumping process has been very interesting that we have been, at least those who have been following me and been doing it consciously. It's very interesting because there is sometimes an instability of what it is we are experiencing. It could be that there are parts of ourselves that have not healed or are vibrating at that level where we can really experience in the material form that higher version or that preferred timeline. And other times, it's not that we're not in our new timelines. It's just that we may be having a little bit of a glitch in terms of like where we are paying attention. So what do I mean by that? Well, if we are preferentially paying attention, that was an interesting way to say it, preferentially. There we go, preferentially paying attention to what is working in our lives versus what is not working, we are more likely going to stay in that higher resonant frequency or vibration of that new preferred timeline or the ideal new reality, I like to call it. However, if our attention goes to what is not working and stays there a tad bit too long, we can stop vibrating at that preferred resonant level and kind of go back towards the resonant match of our old non-preferred timelines. Now, here's the really cool thing. Once you've done the timeline jump, once you have really fully embodied that new reality, you're never totally disconnected from that new reality. That being said, there can be timeline instability, whereby when you are resonating more in the moment with an older timeline where you have older thoughts or subconscious things that are not serving you, or maybe paying attention too much to the news or things that are not working, whether it be in your life or other people's lives, then we can start feeling things in the body that are not pleasant. We can even potentially view, see, perceive, and attract events in our lives that are not preferred. The cool thing, though, is there is a way to stay more stable in the timeline or timelines that you prefer. Now, before I go on, why am I saying timelines? Well, it depends who you talk to and what resonates with you, but feel into it and see what's true for you, because what I say is just my perception and it may be different for you. I don't seem to think that once you're in a timeline that you prefer, that you just stick to that one and only timeline. It seems like there's a lot of fluidity going on. So you might have maybe 3 or 5 or 9 or maybe 20 timelines or versions of you who are experiencing something really awesome. I call those the new timelines, the ones we prefer, okay? So maybe there are that many new timelines that you are flitting back and forth in that higher vibrational state. Perhaps maybe one high vibrational timeline you I don't know, go visit Italy, maybe another high vibrational timeline, you actually change your mind and you go to, I don't know, Hawaii or something like that for a trip. So your decisions and where you're vibrating will actually inform the universe what to materialize or create for you. Now, how do I know this is true? Well, there's some hints, definitely. There's some hints because myself and some friends included have noticed, because we're paying attention, that the physical reality can shift very quickly. Like, I'll give you an example. One of my good friends who've lived in this town for quite some time was going by car with friends, and noticed that there was a building where there was not a building before. So you might go, well, what's the big deal about that? Well, literally, it seemed to appear overnight. Also, one of my friends who was driving to work, not that far a commute, maybe 5, 6, 7 minutes on the highway, for a very long time, he's lived there a very long time, he's noticed there was a hill with trees on it on his way to the office. Then one day, there were no hills and no trees. And it was not bulldozed. There was, grass and foliage there, but not a hill. So how did that hill disappear in the span of a day? This is a case where it is a different timeline and a different reality. Parallel, mind you, but a different reality. So some odd things can happen. Some people have even said, I swear I put the jar of such and such right here on the table. I turned around, came back, and it's gone. And I couldn't find it until I opened the fridge, and there it was. And they're like, wow. So this can be very disconcerting to the average person if that is happening. But a lot of times it is those of us who are sensitive, who are paying attention, who are really like, oh, I'm timeline jumping and I'm flitting from one timeline to another. So how do we stay at those higher vibrational timelines where things are happening that we prefer versus the lower old timelines that we don't prefer? Well, the hint or the tip is to, as Dr. Michelle Peel likes to say, be scalar. And then you're like, well, what does that mean? Well, you probably have heard of electromagnetism, right? Like the electricity in our walls, like there are electromagnetic frequencies and radiation and things like that. We're very familiar with these kinds of waves, like radio waves and microwaves and the electricity through our walls. Scalar waves act very differently. It is a form of energy. Now, Tesla, if he were here, would tell you all about it. The difference is that scalar waves, if you will, it doesn't require or need space-time. So it can affect things that are not close to it and does not require time for its action. And there are some things you'll see online that are selling scalar devices and things like that for health. And to some degree, it's, again, different from electromagnetism and can be helpful for people. Here's the thing. You can be scalar. In other words, you can be timeless. And how do we do that? Well, I figured something out. And thanks to Frank Kin-Slow and his work, the Kin-Slow system, also the very, very small book and a very attractive book because it's very easy, which is The Secrets of Instant Healing, from which the STOEM, Stillness Through Observing Internal Movement, methodology came about, as I was trying to explain to a student of mine years ago how to do Kinslow's method. And, well, I wasn't explaining how to do it. He was trying to do it and he couldn't do it. So I explained it my way and he could do it. So what that is when we are in our bodies, fully embodying and feeling our bodies and the energy in our body, when our attention is fully present, remember the power of now? Yeah, fully present, we become scalar. We become timeless. And in fact, the more time you spend in scalar, probably the younger you will get. I mean, there's probably a limit of like 35 or something. You go all the way down there and you don't become a baby. But you probably look younger. Some people have definitely noticed in the mirror that they look different. And times where they feel more stressed or they're focused on other things, perhaps they pop to the old timeline resonating with those frequencies and they actually look older in the mirror. It's actually quite amazing. Some people are very astute in knowing where they are at. So it's actually really easy to be scalar. You're literally vibrating in your body, feeling the vibration in your body, and you end up entering what people call the 0-point field. And that's the quantum realm where all possibilities are there. And that's a great place to deposit your, this is my ideal reality. Please make it happen. Thank you so much. So I call that seeding the quantum with your ideal future reality. So if you want some sort of visual representation, however, of am I scalar? Am I not scalar? I'm not really sure. Am I doing this right? Am I not doing this right? Right? Not everybody is clairsentient. So there are other ways that you can become scalar using your other senses. We call that a higher or different version of 𝗟𝗏. 𝗟𝗏 is stillness through observing internal movement, and even though we're using other senses, we still call it 𝗟𝗏 because it's kind of stuck. The name is stuck. So you can do 𝗟𝗏 through your vision, which is like your peripheral vision. You can, and this is training, by the way, we do in the Superpower Intensive, a Light Warrior Training Camp, through your hearing, right? So sight, sound, taste, smell, kinesthetics is, of course, more feeling body. And the neat thing about using your senses this way is that it's pretty easy to teach and experience. And you can get to the 0-point field or stillness or the void are other terms for it very simply and easily. And you don't have to stay there. A lot of people, oh, I'm going to meditate for an hour, right? Okay, if you really want to meditate for an hour, go right ahead. I'm not one of those people. So just by going in, if you will, and being and vibrating and feeling your body or doing these other, 𝗟𝗏 exercises, you become scalar. If you are a pendulum user or dowser, and you have a pendulum that has been calibrated to you, we also did that at the Light Warrior Training Camp, you can check this way. Let me show you. Okay, so here's a really big honking pendulum, okay? It's saying yes, it is. Okay, so stop for a moment. So this is I got this from Dr. Michelle Peel, who I met at the American Society of Dowsers. It's very simple. So if you have a pendulum that's already calibrated to you, right? So you know what your yes is, your no is. It's very easy in TOLPAKAN Healing to figure it out. You just ask the percentage, what's your energetic relationship with this pendulum? You get 100%, you're good to go. Okay, so that's how you know if it's calibrated to you. So this is calibrated to me. So all you do is you put your hand on your heart like this, right? And you just wait. And then if you are scalar, what happens is that the pendulum will move in the direction of what is your normal yes. Now mine happens to be clockwise, so it's moving yes right now. So, and then what you do is you can remove your hand, right? So if you get a yes, you are scalar. Kind of cool, huh? Now here's the neat thing. You don't have to have your pendulum all the time checking. If you just feel your body and the energy moving in your body, any movement in your body, at that moment you're paying attention to that, you are scalar. So when you're scalar, what does that do? That stabilizes you in your higher timelines, the ones that you prefer. This is what we figured out this past week, which is very exciting, actually. So it behooves us to continue being while we are doing, vibrating at that higher level while we are doing. And the really cool thing is, even if you get triggered about something on the news or somebody's upset or somebody upsets you for the moment, you can just go into the body, feel the vibration in your body of that discomfort, of that reaction, of that trigger, and that gets you to scalar. So you can be in reactivity and get to scalar and your reactivity won't last very long. It just doesn't. It just moves right through you and you're done. You know, it's really cool that way. It's only when we resist feeling, when we're feeling uncomfortable, then we can have things last longer. So if you are very enthused to be more stable in those higher timelines where you get more of what you desire and less of what you do not desire, then it might be a really good idea to do 𝗟𝗏𝗚𝗛, 𝗟𝗏𝗚, and more 𝗟𝗏𝗚 so you can remain scalar. All right, some great activations for today. Let's go ahead and do 𝗟𝗏𝗚 together right now. Rub your hands, move your feet, stamp your feet if you want, close your eyes if it's safe for you to do so. Focus on the inside of your body. Feel the energy and pulsing and movement, waves, tingling in the body, wherever it is. Follow that flow wherever it goes. Yeah, just keep following that flow. Ooh, I got a lot of stuff moving today. I'm going to speak a TOLPAKAN healing directive, and you just keep noticing the flow. Here we go. I now command anything preventing you and us from connecting to, vibrating at, or being willing to be scalar, being in the 0-point field for our intentions, for positivity, for love, be healed and resolved in the highest and best way, all directions of time and all timelines where we exist with ease, speed, and grace. Thank you. It is now commanded that anything preventing us from timeline stability be healed with ease, speed, and grace in the highest and best way. It's now commanded that any energies that would be beneficial to us to help us with discernment of when we are not in the 0-point field, when we are not scalar, when we are being triggered, we'll have that positive morphic field downloaded and activated with ease, speed, and grace in the highest and best way. Thank you. Woo! Kind of hot now. Would love to know if you noticed anything. If you don't, that's okay too. But some of us are very clairsentient. So we feel movement and a lot of stuff going on in the body when things shift and happen. It is super helpful for you to learn how to do divine muscle testing or use the pendulum, especially a pendulum that is calibrated to you for everyday use. You know, it is so empowering. For example, if I decide I want to eat something that probably isn't maybe the ultimate organic such and such, I can actually heal the energetic relationship between me and that thing and then check it with a pendulum or check it with divine muscle testing, how happy that relationship is. So these are really great skill sets. And by the way, if you are not already part of the Light Medicine community, would love to have you in my circle community. It is KarenKan.com/community, and we'll put the links below. We're doing all sorts of cool things in there, including a monthly mini healing group and individual demos and things like that. It's really fun. I hope to see you there. So some other announcements for this week. So upcoming on Tuesday, August 20th, is the launch of the book Mind Training by the wonderful and amazing Ravinder Taylor. Now, we are re-airing one of her podcasts where she talks about the science of self-sabotage and self-destructive behavior. Yeah, we all have some of that a little bit of the time. So there's actually science behind it. Like, why do we do some things that aren't necessarily that great for us, right? When we discover that, we can actually really empower ourselves. So this is a really cool podcast. I'll put the link below to that, and you can listen to that Monday at 12 noon when it re-airs. And of course, I'll also put the link of the Mind Training book. So let's make this a #1 best-selling book on the 20th. So purchase it on August 20th if you can. Highly recommend it. And loving my friends Eldon and Ravinder Taylor. They're beautiful people doing lots of wonderful work. So please support their book launch. Okay, some other things, upcoming events. Mark your calendar for Tuesday, September 3rd at 2 p.m. Eastern. We are doing a live 3-hour workshop, Healing Faster Than the Speed of Light. And if you're brand new to my community or you're just hearing about this, this is a must-see. So it's one of those workshops where it gives you the foundation of how healing works, you know, on the quantum level. So we're going to talk about science, we're going to do some practice, all sorts of things. So if you want to, you can click the link below just to find out more information about that. And it is donation only. So it's $147 $1 class, but you can donate anything from $1 to $147. It's completely up to you. The shopping cart does not go to zero, so we couldn't say zero. We had to say at least $1. We'd love to see you there. You will get a workbook and some little mini bonuses on the way as well. So we'll give you more information about that, and we'll talk more about that in the ensuing weeks. And also, there's a very special free workshop coming up on Tuesday. A lot of things happening Tuesday. Remember to buy the book Tuesday and then come to this workshop Tuesday. It's called Silence the Committee in Your Head, and it's with my dear friend 𝗟𝗚𝗚𝗛𝗡. He's my publisher as well as the filmmaker of the movie that I star in called The Inside Effects movie. And he has a wonderful workshop planned for us. You know that monkey mind that kind of tells us you can't, you don't deserve, blah, 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 blah. Well, you know what? We all have it to some degree. I know I had a really loud one before, much softer now, thankfully. So he's going to help us, practically help us in a way to help us shine, to be seen, to be heard, like to remove some of these blocks, that we may have, that we grew up with, and we don't even know what they are. Yeah, sometimes there is a negative Nelly committee in our heads. So this is kind of like VIP kind of workshop. So check it out if you are ready to shine and are so done with hiding in the shadows and pretending you don't have light and greatness. So I'll put the link below that you can register. Will need to register for this particular workshop with Keith, and I will be there with bells on to support you. We also have Keith again on Wednesday. Now, this is just for the Health Freedom Tribe members. So the Health Freedom Tribe is a private community within my circle community, and these are folks that meet with me every week. We chat about what's going on in their lives, what's going on in the world. We talk about some of the things that have been censored over the last few years and are still continuing to be censored. And it's all very high vibe stuff. So we're not into like, negative, truther, gaslighting. Like we're not doing either side. So we're really reducing the polarity that's in the world right now. And right now, if you're in the US, you'll note the political poles of all these right, left, upside down, all these things happening. So we talk about some of these distractions and we give a different perspective on there, and we do a marvelous manifestation meditation every single week. And the upcoming week, Keith will be there to tell us about his experience working for the big media. Yes, he used to work for the media. He was actually an editor, and he knows kind of like in the back scenes there what actually happens in those companies. In fact, let's just put it this way. They were not very truthful and not in the up and up, and then he eventually quit because he just could not live with himself to continue working for that kind of company. So there's some real industry secrets, if you will, that we get to learn about. He's going to be interviewed by me during the Health Freedom Chat. So if you're interested in health freedom, if you're interested in chatting with me and Leslie and all the other health freedom advocates and champions in this community every week at 12 noon Eastern, then definitely check it out. Sign up below before Wednesday, and then you will be part of that live interview with Keith. Woo, that was a lot of stuff this week. But it's very exciting time, very exciting time. So we will see you next week with lots of love. And remember, be still, be scalar. All right, see you next time.